Hey everyone, my name's Matt and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to go over the first of my 4 upgrades for the new Commander 2019 decks, and we're starting off today with the Madness deck Merciless Rage. So this is going to be a budget of $25 because I hope that just appeals to everyone. It's not going to, take too much out of your pocket. And in this actual deck, what I'm doing is changing 25 cards as well. So, funny enough, $25, 25 cards. Now, they're not all dollar cards. There is some in there that are a little bit more expensive. But let's get on with the deck today and basically see how we're going to improve this Madness deck, turn it into a smoother kind of discard deck, and add in some Commander staples that you will be able to, if you do purchase them, if you're a new EDH player, Commander player, you'll be able to purchase these and basically be able to put them in many other decks as well. So some of these will be Commander staples and they'll be able, good use for other decks, not just only this Merciless Rage deck. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the lands. I'm taking out 3 lands. So we're dropping from 40 lands to 37 lands. I'm dropping a mountain, a swamp, and Temple of the False God. So there's a lot of talk about Temple of the False God. Tap it for double colorless, but you can only activate that if you've got 5 or more lands. So if you got it in, a couple of lands in hand, and this as well, basically you've still only got 2 lands in hand. I don't know. I'm just always not a favourite of this card, not in this type of deck anyway. So that is the one of the main lands it's dropping out, and like I said, just a couple of basics as well. Now I've not put any of the lands in the upgrade because if you want to do that and you've got, you want to go bigger than the $25 budget, lands is normally where you spend it because lands are very, very expensive. If you have a look at some of the lands that tap for black and red. Blackleaf Cliffs is around $50. You go further down if you want to start building up a few, really nice lands. You've got Blood Crypt that's around $12, $13. And then there's other utility red and black lands that are a little bit cheaper that you will be able to put into the deck as you build it up and improve it over time. But the land base, as in anything, standard, modern, modern, vintage, anything like that, legacy, the lands cost the money, and it's no different in Commander. So first of all, we're going to look at the 25 cards that I'm taking out of the deck. Now, some of these do have madness, but I feel like we can improve them with other cards. There might be some that you think should stay in. Well, this is just, this is my advice, and this is just my personal opinion, and these are the way I'm going to be upgrading the deck. So we're going to, first of all, take a look at, there's 10 creatures that are going out of the deck. Starting with Sanitarium Skeleton, just because I've got a better 1-drop for this. It's good because it's got recursion, but I feel like I've got a better 1-drop that will help us in the deck. Playcrafters going out as well. I'm just moving cards that really aren't on theme with the deck. Some are a little bit on theme, but some not. Like Scaretiller, nice card, but not really what I want to be doing in this deck at all. So then there's a couple of other creatures like Skyfire Phoenix that's going to go. When you cast your Commander, return it. It has that bit of recursion, but it's not guaranteed. And it's just a 3/3 flyer as well, which is nice. But, we have better cards that we can put in. Wildfire Devils is going to go. Gorgon Recluse. It does have madness. Now, like I said, there will be some madness cards that do go. And I've put in a couple of extra madness cards that I feel that are, a lot stronger than the ones that I'm taking out. But like I said, these are just my advice. And if you want to keep some of these in and maybe swap something else out, feel free to do it. But this is the way I've upgraded the deck. And I feel like it will play a lot better. Now, Grieven's going to go as well because build around this separately. For this kind of discard deck, it's just not for me, Grieven, Predator Captain. Build around it in a separate deck if you want to build another Rakdos deck and have that as your commander, would be my advice. Champion of Stray Souls is going. Archfiend of Spite. It's a 6/6 flyer. Nice, but it does cost 7 though. The madness is 5. Whenever a source and opponent controls deal damage to it, that source's controller loses that much life. Like I said, we're going to put in bigger, better creatures than these. And the old Meteor Golem that always gets a reprint. Recursion is nice with this, but it costs 7 mana. So maybe you can cheat it in the graveyard. But for me, there's a lot better cards. So now there's 11 mixture of instant sorcery, enchantment, and artifacts that are going. And what was strange for me for this deck, that it didn't have a lot of ramp in the deck. So I've added a little bit more ramp to it. But one of the ramp cards that we did get out, so to speak, is Armillary Sphere. Just better cards to be had than this. Perfectly fine to keep this in, but for me, when you're looking through cards to take out, you have to cut some, and this was one for me. Avacyn's Judgment was another one that bit the dust. Bloodthirsty Blade. There's a few of the artifacts for me that just weren't on theme with the deck, like Aeon Engine, however you pronounce that. I butcher names, you know that. Just not what I want to be doing in this deck at all. Comes in tapped. reverse the game's turn order. Just pointless for me for this kind of brew anyway. And there's a couple of other Madness cards in Malevolent Whispers as well. And we do have From the Under the Floorboards that is just going to be missed. We're not token decks. We're not, I'm not interested in making loads of zombies like that way anyway. Eldest Reborn, while a nice card, and each opponent will discard a card. I'm aiming on me discarding cards and then recurring them back from the graveyard with this discard themed deck. And because, we're cutting down some lands, there's some big CMCs we're getting rid of here as well. Boneyard, Parley, Hedonist Trove as well. We've got better graveyard action coming in. And when you look at like Archfiend Spite, Meteor Golem, there's 7 mana city. We're getting a lot of rid of big CMC cards in this deck. And hopefully, we, by lowering the CMC, we can get away with the 37 lands as well. And also, I'm afraid, Nicholas Reignited bites the dust for me as well. +1, draw a card, lose a life, very nice. But I want more of the discard theme, and unfortunately, Nicholas, you bit the dust for me. So first of all, we're going to look at the upgraded creatures that I'm bringing in. So we took out 10 creatures, and I'm bringing in 9 creatures. Now, the first one is Ruthless Sniper that's coming in. This 1-drop, whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a -1/1 counter on target creature. Now, this was obviously coming in for the Skeleton 1-drop, and I feel like it's just really strong because we're discarding cards, we're paying 1, we might be able to kill a creature, or we can definitely shrink something down. So this little innocuous 1/2 will do some serious work for us. Ravenous Bloodseeker as well. 1/3, we got more discard outlets by, the cards that I'm bringing in. This is an automatic discard a card, give it +2/2, and it can become a real big beater, Bloodseeker. +2/2, just 1 discard, and it's already a 3/5 already. It's just really good, and it's nice to have these discard outlets in the game, rather than waiting for something, like an instant or sorcery spell to play. We've got to have creatures on the board that will be able to help us do this as well. Glinthorn Buccaneer is another one as well. Whenever you discard a card, we're going to do damage to each opponent. So this is a great little win con creature. We can do maybe 2-3 damage a turn sometimes. And Glinthorn Buccaneer, nice stats being a 2/4. And it has the ability as well, we can pay the 2 to discard a card and draw a card. But you only activate this ability if it's attacking. So, maybe you could add in something of making it unblockable because you don't really want to be attacking and doing that. But the ability of just the standard ability of just discard a card, 1 damage to each opponent in Commander, that is going to be brilliant. So looking at the next lot of 3 creatures we got here, Olivia Mobilized for War. Nice 3/3 Vampire Knight. I've went for more of the discard route in this rather than vampires, because I feel like if you're going vampires, you're going to be playing Edgar Markov, because that is just the best vampire commander there is. But Mobilized for War is very nice. Ends the battlefield under control. You may discard a card. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on it. Gains haste to end of turn. And in addition, it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. So this is really nice, putting a 1/1 counter on a creature, maybe turn it into a vampire as well. I just feel like Olivia is a sweet addition to the deck and gives us another flyer, which along for me is one of the best upgrades for the deck. Archfiend of Ifnir. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, because we do have a few cycle cards in there, but discard is obviously the way that we are going, put a -1/1 counter on each creature your opponents control. That's each creature. That is epic. We'll be able to, it's like a board wipe in itself. We'll be able to just shrink creatures down, maybe take off the few of, there and there again. But the discard feature on Archfiend is very nice, and it's a 5/4 flyer as well, just for 5 mana. Cavalier of Flame, 6/5, big elemental knight. 2 triple red, gives, we can give other creatures +1/+0, and they can gain haste to end of turn. And when we'll be discarding cards, sometimes they will be land cards, so this can make this better sometimes as well with the Cavalier. Ends the battlefield, we can discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards, so it's got that nice wheel effect for us. And when it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each Planeswalker they control, whereas the amount of lands that we have in the graveyard. So with our discard thing, we can sort of manipulate the graveyard, put lands in there, drop the Cavalier, and when it dies, we might be able to get some proper value for that. So the final 3 creatures that I'm upgrading the deck with, we've got Horror of the Broken Lands there. Nice cycle discard effect here, 4/4 for 5. Gets +2/+1 as well, and it has the ability to cycle in case we need to cycle. Maybe we've got Archfiend on the field, we need to cycle maybe to do a little board wipe for some tokens, or we can just play this and there's another creature like the Ravenous Bloodseeker that can be pumped up and attack for bigger than the stats say. Phyrexian Delver, 3/2 for 5. Stats aren't great for the 3/2, but it's what it does. You get a body. When it ends the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It does what black does. We lose life equal to the coveted mana cost. But like I said, we've lowered the CMC of a lot of this, so it might not hurt us too much, but we're going to get a strong effect of a creature coming in. Reanimating the Archfiend of Ifnir, because people will want to keep that, and we'll get it back and we'll start just killing all our opponent's creatures again. The other creature I'm adding in is a Voldaren Pariah. Love this card. 3/3 flying, sacrifice 3 creatures. It has madness for triple black as well, so it goes right on theme with the deck. And then it turns into Abolisher of Bloodlines. When this creature transforms, target opponent sacrifices 3 creatures, so we might be able to get something really good and wipe an opponent's board, and then becomes a massive 6/5 flyer. I love this madness creature. I'm not sure why it wasn't in the deck, to be honest, but we're going to add it in as an upgrade, and at just under $1, it's amazing, amazing for that price. So we're going to take a look at the instants and sorcery enchantments and in artifacts now. We've got 16 coming in, because we can add a few more in because we dropped those 3 lands. And we're going to be looking at ways, we're turning it, like I said, into a more streamlined discard deck. Bag of Holding is a really nice card to play in there from the M20 set. Discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard whenever you discard. Pay 2, draw a card, discard a card. So it helps us go through our deck, discard what we need. We can even discard lands ready for the Cavalier of Flame. Or we can trigger abilities with some of our creatures like Ifnir and just start wheeling stuff away and destroying creatures. You can pay 4 to sacrifice the bag, return all the cards that were exiled it back to your owner's hand as well. So we recur all those cards back once we discard them as well. It's a brilliant card and fits perfectly. And for 1 mana and 50 cents, brilliant card. So adding in more discard, sorceries and instants, we've got Faithless Looting coming in as well. Cathartic Reunion, these cards like Tormenting Voice as well are cards that really should have been in the deck, but we can add them in. They're pretty cheap. Faithless Looting will have dropped down now because it's just been banned in Modern, so that is around $1. It might even drop since I've made this video, but these 3 cards, these 3 sorceries are really, really nice. Draw cards, discarding, activating the creatures and anything else on there with discards, and we're getting to draw as well and do stuff and have fun magic. So we got one card. This is the most expensive card in the upgrade. It's the card that I said that you will be able to play in all your other red decks, and that's Vandal Blast. 1 mana sorcery. It's just over $4. You can pay the overload cost of this for 5 as well to destroy artifacts you don't control. So for 1 mana you can get rid of something. For 5 mana, destroy them all that you don't control. So we get to keep ours. Vandal Blast. You can see why it's $4. It's just such a great card. I did speak about ramp, and it was missing. It didn't have hardly any ramp in this, considering the some of the big CMC creatures and enchantments that it did have. So I'm adding in Mind Stone in there, and this is one of the decks, one of the cards that you will be playing in multiple decks. We're going to have it in Rakdos Signet as well, and we're all going to add in a Hazarat's Monument. Now, this makes red spells cheaper, so it is ramp in effect, but whenever you cast a creature spell, you may discard a card and draw a card, which means we've got another discard outlet. So we've got a lot of discard outlets ready to do shenanigans in this new vamped up Menace deck. Talking about the graveyard now, we've got Perpetual Timepiece in there. So we can put the top 2 cards of our library in our graveyard, but this will also protect our graveyard because we will be using it, obviously. Recursion, we'll speak about those cards in a minute as well. But you can pay 2 with this, exile Perpetual Timepiece, shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard back into your library. So we can even miss out some of the lands because we've already got our land base there, and then just put in the best cards that we need, so we've got a better percentage chance of redrawing them. So for 2 mana, Perpetual Timepiece is a great addition. Rakdos Charm has a little bit of, help with us graveyards where we can, dedicated decks that we're playing against. We can exile all cards from target player's graveyard, and also we can choose one of these. So it could be destroy target artifact, or you're playing against a player that's got, huge, massive creatures, and each creature will do 1 damage to that controller, and Rakdos Charm can win a game all by itself. Still on the graveyard theme, Shadow of the Grave is there. Return to your hand all cards from your graveyard you cycled or discarded in a turn. Great card this, instant mana, and it's like just over 50 cents this card. It will get back all those cards that we discard. You can see the amount of discard effects that we got. We can discard them all and then just re-get them back and keep playing them and doing the madness costs again. It's such a cool card and fits perfectly with this deck. Stitched Together is there as well. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand for the double black mana. It also has Threshold, which means return that card from your graveyard to the battlefield instead if you've got 7 or more cards in your graveyard. And to be honest, with the amount of discard that we're doing, as long as we don't see a mass graveyard wipe, we're probably going to have Threshold, using this at the right time of the game, and then just get that creature back onto the battlefield. Dread Return is another recursion card that we have. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Costs 4 mana, but it does have flashback as well, so we can sack creatures, then return creatures. It's just really, really weird. We got recursion theme here, discard theme. Even when opponents start killing stuff, we're going to be able to get stuff back. It's going to be a deck that's going to be a nightmare to deal with. I've added in a little bit more card draw. We got Read the Bones there, scry 2, draw 2 cards, and you lose 2 life. That's just the theme that you have with it. Red, when you're drawing cards, you're either discarding, and when you're doing it with black, you're normally losing life. But the scry 2 first is very, very good, and Read the Bones is a staple that you will just be able to put in all your black decks. Now, we got another little bit of discard theme here with Trading Post. But with this, you're paying 1, but you're also gaining 4 life. This could be very, very useful for us when we're discarding cards. Maybe paying life for stuff as well. Gaining that extra bit of life and recurring this and keep doing Trading Post stuff. And you got to remember, it also has other stuff as well. So you pay 1 life, create a blocker. Could be a sacrificial creature. Gets us a token. You can then sack a creature, return target artifact card. So maybe we can just sack it, get back our perpetual timepiece or something like that. It's really good. So we've got lots of with this we've got recursion in the artifacts as well. People killed like our Rakdos Signets or our Mind Stones or anything like that. We're just going to go straight ahead and get them back with that. Trading Post is very versatile, and for 50 cents, just add it to your deck and add it to many other decks as well. So the last upgrade card is just a bit of mass removal, and it has cycling as well, so it works well with theme with the deck as well. Not too cheap, comes in at just under $4 as well, just a little bit below the Vandal Blast, but it's Decree of Pain. Destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated, but you get to draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. So careful not to mill yourself if there's like a billion creatures on the battlefield, but you can also cycle this as well, and you give all creatures -2/2, which is pretty nice. And then you obviously get to discard the card, draw a card. You know our theme, discard and draw, that's what we'll be doing. So Decree of Pain, for the $4 is definitely worth an inclusion for this deck. So mages, this is my upgraded deck. I really hope you enjoy it. I think the deck is just going to work a lot smoother, and it's going more towards the discard theme. And we've got some great creatures in there for the small amount of $25 that hopefully, if you're looking to upgrade it, wouldn't hurt people's pockets too much. Like I said, if you want to go above the upgrade, start adding those lands in, because the lands are very expensive. And maybe you could start adding tutors if you want. Some people like playing tutor cards, like Demonic Tutor and stuff like that. Some people don't like playing with tutors, and some play sets, play groups, don't like playing with tutor decks. But there are ways that you can just improve the deck, find the cards you want, but they are expensive. There's some cheaper ones at larger mana costs, but Demonic Tutors and stuff like that are obviously very dear, but you will be able to use them if you're building stronger decks and playing in a stronger playtesting group. But let me know what you think of the upgrades. I really do hope you have enjoyed this. Give the video a like if you like what you see as well, and I will be going through the other 3 decks in future videos as well. Subscribe if you're new, because that's a great way to support the channel. And don't forget to go and enter my competition. You've still got time to win yourself. There's 2 winners going to be chosen for 2 of these new Commander Precon decks. They are in French language, but cards are cards. And it's a free giveaway, and it's worldwide. There would have been a link going up on top, but make sure I will put one in the description as well. Just go and check out my previous video to this one and enter that free competition. Anyway, you lot take care, and I'll see you on the next video.